Mr. Organ.
Hi, welcome to the Worldview Talk Show. My name is Chantale Escobar, and I'll be your host for today. And this is our Valentine's Day special. And we'll be talking about love to love, likes versus real love. And with me, I have some very beautiful women today. Next to me is Melanie Valentin.
Hi, all.
Who's also my cousin, and also Eliza V. Anthony. And yes, she's my best friend. And another very good friend of mine, Stephanie Benjamin. And they're all here to talk about love to love. And I know you're thinking, likes versus real love, what do you mean? I mean exactly what I mean, but the like button versus real love and real communication. And that's what we're here to talk about today. So, Eliza, what do you think about this topic on Valentine's Day?
I think this is a topic where a lot of people really need to get a better understanding, because so many people take Valentine's Day as a cliche when it's actually something that you do every single day.
Right.
So I think this is an important topic, and it will benefit others.
Yes. And it's something where, you know, we all understand and recognize we should love each other every day. Yes. But the importance is, how do we love each other every day? And we've all seen how society has consumed us with showing love in a way that is not even tangible. It's in numbers, but it's not in reality. Yeah. And that's a big concern, that we need to make sure that we spend time together in real love, you know, and not just, ooh, someone liked this or someone liked that, because what does that mean? What does that really mean? Mm-hmm. Stephanie, what do you think that means?
I think that it means, when you say someone's liking versus loving, you know, I feel like sometimes we get sucked in to the whole infatuation of having someone pay us attention.
Right.
You know, whether it's real love or just, you know, the likes. Like, right. You know, the fact that we have that attention, that traffic coming our way. Mm-hmm. I personally prefer the real love, right? over the likes. And I think that you can really get lost in that. Right. And it'll kind of screw with your whole self-identity if you allow it.
Yes.
So
that's really good. Self-identity is something that we all struggle with in one shape or form, but really this younger generation, this is something where they've been a lot more hindered than we have been, because social media, to the capacity that it is now, we're still trying to not get sucked into that, and at least we're able to acknowledge that. But for them, that's really all that they know, and we have to force them to say, put that down, spend time, use your imagination. Like, what do you mean, spend time? We are spending time, you know? Now, Melanie is a single mom of 3 beautiful children, one that is 21.
Almost
21.
Soon enough.
Yes. And then the other 2 are...
Almost 9 and 12, all girls.
Yes, all girls. So you can imagine what her household is like. But I do know that she's very intentional about spending quality time. I want to talk a little bit about that, as maybe the fight that you might have with that with some of your daughters, and maybe you don't.
No, for sure. I am very intentional about giving time and attention and a specific type of time and attention to my girls. I am very aware of what society offers, and I want them to know that they don't need to seek the world's attention and acceptance to be complete and loved and whole. Right. So we do a lot of things together just the four of us as a unit, or the three of us, because now Miss 21 doesn't have time for me. But with my younger girls, we spend a lot of time together, and I want them to feel a sense of validation at home before they seek it out anywhere else. Speaking to the likes versus real love.
Yes.
To tag on to that, it is very important to me that my girls understand and truly appreciate quality versus quantity.
Yes.
And so long as that they experience and they understand
Yes.
the depth of what real love looks like at home,
Yes.
I'm hoping that they don't
Get mixed
chase
up.
all the likes and attention from multiple sources elsewhere. So
That's really, really good. And it's funny because I literally was thinking to myself, we need to touch on that. And then you touched exactly on that because
when I have girls, it's literally something that is constantly in the background of my mind. I am raising young ladies.
Yes.
And I am raising young ladies that serve the Lord. And I want them to carry that
yes.
throughout their whole lives. So I'm very intentional in what they're learning at home, because I know that they're gonna be on their own and do their own thing soon enough.
Yeah.
Do you think that the boys or men on Facebook and social media and things like that are impacted the same as women when it comes to the likes and the attention that you might get? Or do you think that there is definitely a big difference with how it might impact women as opposed to men?
I think it's I was actually talking about this earlier today. It's so funny. I think that there is a huge difference. People try to act like it's like the line's not there,
Right.
but it is. And I think there's a huge difference because, you know, people just expect women to be either at each other's throats or, you know, catty or naked,
Right.
or, you know, just,
Right.
and the guys can, it's like, you know, they can just do whatever or say whatever, and it's not, you know, it's nothing.
They just
you
don't
know?
care as much.
Exactly, and it's like women are easily scrutinized by some of the things that they do. And then when you have a female who's actually not doing those types of things, you know, then it's like, oh, you're boring, or you're,
Right.
you know,
Right.
there's nothing going on with her or
Right.
anything like that. Something that Melanie said, what she does with her girls about, you know, going out and spending time. The thing that came to my mind was the word affirmation. And I think that it's an amazing thing that you do that, because this generation is like, it's so different than, you know, for me, I'm on my way to 30. Knocking on 30.
Almost.
And, yes, almost. And it's even different from my group
Right.
of people who,
Right.
you know, my age group. And so, you know, a lot of people are careless with their words and what they say and how it affects people. And I just think that it's amazing. It's an amazing thing because women don't do that.
Right.
Like, we're not,
Right.
you know, we don't affirm each other. And the fact that they get that from their mother, it creates like a sisterhood outside of bloodline. You know, it's like in my head, it's, you know, whether this one or that one doesn't approve or esteem me high, you know, my family, my sisterhood, my mom, you know, we affirm each other, and that's going to make for very
Big
productive women and
Yes.
awesome self-esteem. Like,
Yes.
I just think that that's amazing. I think that's amazing.
That's
is
really good.
super important to me that not that my girls feel excluded from anyone else, but that they are deeply rooted
Yes.
in our family. So in our house, more than getting in trouble for not doing their chores or doing things
Right.
that they're not supposed to be doing, they get in trouble more for speaking to each other in a way that is not respectful or treating each other poorly. Like, they will get yoked up for speaking to their sister in a way that is
I've
not
witnessed that.
respectful
Yeah.
than they would be for not cleaning their room. Because their room, I mean, they need those habits as
Right.
well. But even more so, I want them to know that they have to respect one another Because it is what it is. The world is not always going to be welcoming, and the world is not always going to embrace them, embrace us.
Yes.
So I
Yes.
want them to know that they always have a strong foundation, and they have that sister, that person, that family that is there no matter what. So they will get in trouble for talking out of line to one another before they do anything else.
And that's really good because, talking about being rooted and grounded in the right thing and the right foundation, which is the family structure.
For sure.
And, all of us being women of God and believers, that's exactly what he requires of us to do. He sets that example to us. He's our father, and he's called us to be brothers and sisters in Christ. So there's that family foundation. And if we don't have an understanding of that, this love to really real love, how do we love for real, really, in a society where it's based off of such things that it's not tangible at all. It's only tangible for the moment, but it's completely fleeting, and it varies based off of so many people. They'll like a post, but actually not read it.
Yes, yes.
They'll like the picture, but don't really read the substance of the picture unless it's obvious
It's all
or unless
surface.
it's all surface. And then the other thing is, like you were even saying about not everyone is accepting of everyone, but not everyone is also understanding either. And if something happens where they don't understand why they acted a certain way or did something, that's it. Oh, that's a bad look. So you know what? I'm going to stop liking their pictures because I can't be associated with them, or you name it. And it's just a completely skewed way of actually loving people. It's not loving people at all. And really, it's not even loving yourself.
Right.
So it's important that we get to this place of recognition. How do we solve this problem? Because, I was really thinking about this, and I said, social media is not going anywhere.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Evolve, if
It's
anything.
evolving.
Yes.
And there are good things about social media, for sure. And there are good things about likes because, from a business perspective, you get to say, okay, this impacted so-and-so, why? And there's ways you can go into the stats and everything like that. But then there's ways of impacting in a bad way. And I was listening to a message earlier today. It was about relationships and how in the past 7 years, marriages have been affected by 40% because of social media. I was like,
Wow.
40%?
That's huge.
That's
That is
huge.
I could actually relate to that because that was something big in my marriage. My husband is 15 years older than I am, so he's kind of set in his ways. And if anything, this relationship has really taught me to love unconditionally. It's not easy, but it has taught me to love people even in their imperfections. So social media, because I'm active on social media, when my husband would go on, he would kind of get sucked into the antics or if somebody is supposed to be living a certain way, it was kind of like pointing, look what they're doing. And while I would be on the other end saying, well, we're not perfect, we really have to pray for them, because we're not perfect at all. We all have something about us, and others may not like it, but it's not up for anyone to judge.
Right.
Our job, especially as the body of Christ, is to really pray each other's strength. Because if we talk about one, we're condemning ourselves.
Correct.
We're all part of one body.
Yes.
So it's like, the word says, if one is mourning, you mourn with them. If, they're happy, you be happy with them.
Yes.
And, in order to be strong as the body of Christ, our prayers are more effective than our opinions.
Can you say that again? Can you say that
Our
again?
prayers are more effective than our opinions.
It's very good.
And it can go in places where we will never reach.
Right.
So we just have to, being married, I know God is strategic in everything that he does. And he allowed myself and my husband to come to a place where he is weak, that I am strong.
Right.
So it has a balance. And I think, a lot of people can fall when they look at other people's weaknesses.
Right.
And really tear that down when they're supposed to be building that up.
Yes.
So, he's not on social media now, but it doesn't stop me from doing what I'm going to. Yes, he definitely has his moments, but I make sure that I do what I'm supposed to do, and then I'm off. Because it's so easy, like we said, to get sucked in. Mm-hmm. And before you know it, you're spending hours on social media, and you're like, oh, wait, did I get my word in? Mm-hmm. So it's like we really have to be conscious about where our time goes and what we're doing.
Yes, and even from a business perspective, I'm someone that you guys know I'm an entrepreneur of 2 businesses. And so there's my private life, which is not, 100% private in certain areas, because as a business woman, they want to see a little bit of your life. They don't just want to buy the product. They want to buy into your life, mm-hmm. right? So, but you have to, of course, be careful with that. But at the same time, I'm doing so much work, and all not for myself, but by myself, essentially, that I have to intentionally make time to go on there. And it's become the replacement of advertisements, which it's great. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing, because then so many times, someone could have all these followers and all these likes, but where's your fruit? Where's the money? That's not paying my bills. Right. So it's finding that good balance. So it's the same thing even with us as people, women of God, ministers or disciples or people just wanting to reach out and be positive people. Make sure that we have that good balance. Yes. And at the end of the day, realize that these numbers, they don't really mean anything. And it's the way society has made Facebook is, it's made everyone their own little kind of celebrity.
Yes,
is definitely. Really what it is.
Mm-hmm. For sure. I feel that I'm on social media.
I know.
A lot is what it is. When you meet someone in real life and you're face to face with them, someone you're meeting for the first time, it is natural tendency to put our best foot forward mm-hmm. when we're meeting someone. And what social media has done is it has supplied a platform where people are always putting their best foot forward, and you're always getting that first encounter, that first introduction, so that you're always seeing the best. Mm-hmm. What we need to take into account is accountability.
Yes. Yes.
We have to realize that there are real relationships and real lives and real people that are holding us accountable for the negative, the not so pretty things mm-hmm. behind the scenes. That's and good. I think a lot of people get caught up with only seeing the nice and only seeing
the edited version.
Yes.
The minuscule little facet of someone's whole day. Myself included. The other day I posted a picture of my girls putting on makeup, and like shortly after that I called up Chantale and I'm like, girl, you are not gonna believe what happened. 5 minutes after that, it was a moment of like tranquility and peace in my home, and then all types of shenanigans and nonsense broke out after. But in that moment,
you would never know that by looking at the picture. You would never know that,
and everyone just got that glimpse. And in the moment when I posted the picture, I was content with that moment. So that's what everyone saw. And then we get the flip side of that, where we're like, well, we're not going to post our negative things or put our negative things out there so that people don't feed off of that. Mm-hmm. But that's why you need the behind the scenes accountability. And I can call up my cousin and say, girl, this is what's going on. So it's nice, and I think it's good. And truthfully, I think it's it can be helpful mm-hmm. to have the accolades that you may not get on a day-to-day basis. Mm-hmm. We are all moms on this panel. Yes, we all know how difficult it is to be a mom, to work, to go to school, and to raise children. And sometimes it is a blessing to have someone see your post and say, girl, you're doing a good job.
Yes.
That is a good thing, but you can't live in that bubble.
No.
on the other hand, you need that person that's going to knock you off your pedestal and say, you are not doing this right.
Yes.
Lovingly. Saying
Yes.
it lovingly, but say, you need to do this. You need to work on this. And luckily, I'm blessed enough where I have people to call me out on those things. But social media doesn't see that. They don't see the people that are checking me behind the scenes. They just get to see the happy moments.
Transparency. A lot of people, you're talking about, they see one side of you. And that's where, when we talk about love, a lot of people can put on a facade.
Yes.
If they may like you, in a sense where you see all the good things.
Yep.
But it isn't until you
Will
really
you
get
really
to
like
know-
me?
Yes, exactly. Where you can actually be transparent. It's like, okay, are you gonna like me in my transparency?
Right.
Are you gonna love me in my transparency?
Yeah.
So, to like something is, you can easily turn away.
Yeah.
But if you love something, you're gonna fight for it.
You can like my whole, but are you going to love my broken?
Yes.
Yes. Who wants to talk about the scripture? Who wants to go there? I can see it.
I have something to say based off of what Melanie just said, and Eliza. I just had a beautiful baby boy 7 months ago. And so while I was pregnant, I was dealing with some very traumatic emotional distress, if you will. And I was always the type of person, like, when I spoke on whatever I was thinking about or feeling, I'm talking to Facebook like I would talk to you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just that, I don't know how to be otherwise, So it was that. And then there were times during that traumatic experience, during those traumatizing times, if you will, that I was just really transparent and letting Facebook have it, because I knew that people were going to see my status and they were going to read it and they were going to be like, oh, she is upset. And and I wanted them to know that I was upset. And it having those people there, I think my sister friend here has helped me on a few of those occasions. Like, you need to take that down, sis. You are a woman of God. People are looking at you, and I'm just like, I don't care right now. I am angry. And, having those people to, like you said, tell you that your slip is showing, or, remind you who you are and things like that. It's made me a better woman. You know what I mean? I look back on those times and I'm just like, that was so silly. Like, I took all of that energy to write a post that I ended up having to delete. And I was hormonal and pregnant. And so it's like, and I look back and I laugh and I'm just like, God, I thank you for placing people in my corner and in my life that will love me in my good and tell me about my bad. That say, hey, that's not you. They'll remind me who God says that I am, remind me of where I'm going in the future and who I'm supposed to represent. And a lot of people don't have that. Some people would cheer on the negative. And they're like, oh, well, go ahead and do this and sharing things. And I'm so grateful that my life is not based on likes. I used to be that person, very insecure and not knowing the love that the Father has for me was enough.
Right.
And so, I'm so glad that, when I get the likes, it doesn't matter to me. I remember it used to be like, man, I got like 300 something likes. Like, I really was hot in that picture.
Yeah.
Like, and now when I see it, I'm just like, it's almost like, oh, okay.
Right.
Like, I'm removed from that
really
place
do?
where I needed that validation.
But I think the bigger blessing in all of that, or what I see as the bigger blessing in that, is not only have you come from that place, but now you understand it in a way that when you see your younger sisters liking and craving that, you can speak to them from a place of, I've been there.
Yep.
I understand it. I got you. I
Yes.
love you.
Yes.
And patiently wait for them to come out of that place too.
Yes.
You know, it's
Yes.
all
So you don't forget it.
yes.
And it makes me feel so good when I'm able to share it, you know, and say that, like, sis, I've been there. You don't need to do that.
Yes.
I'm telling you, it's not going to reap the benefits or the results you're looking for. It's going to reap something totally different.
Completely different.
But
Yeah.
I think also when other people say may have seen your response and then see the next time you were to get in that particular situation, your response would be totally different. So they would see a change, like, wow.
They see the growth.
They see the growth.
Yes.
You know, like, wow,
Yeah.
before she used to black out. You know, you were scared to read her post. But now, you know, you get to a place where you're like, you know what? I don't have time for that, but I'm going to love you anyway.
She was mad
You know?
petty before, but look at her praise now.
But the great thing, though, that I can say, even just from experience in that and seeing your personal growth in that area, is that it's not just evident in what you're posting, but it's evident in the essence of the post. You know, it's not just, this sounds good, so let me say it. You know,
Exactly.
even like your pictures with your son, you know, you can see the peace of the Lord is on you. You can see the joy of the Lord is there. The light is there, you know, no matter what filter you put on,
Right.
it's there.
Exactly.
It's different because that internal change was made
Yep.
on you, because you said, I'm making this decision, you know. So I thank God that he sends us help in multiple
Yes.
ways, even in an area that is so exposed.
Yes.
Like, and you think about our generation, we're different generations here at this table. And if I would to think about my high school time years ago, and me putting this stupid, silly stuff I did in high school, if I put it out there, like, it was bad enough just putting it in a note and giving it to someone, let alone putting it out there for the open, you know?
Yes.
So I thank God that he protected us from that, but then will continue to protect those that might be in those kind of situations with accountability behind the scenes. It's almost like, wow, Facebook, you want to have some accountability people behind there? Probably not. They're like, no.
They're like, bring it on. All of the good, the bad, the ugly.
Yeah, all of it, all of it. But no, it's really, it's definitely a really great conversation, and something where I encourage, you know, every single viewer to think about what you're posting before you post, and even why are you posting it? Like, what is the purpose? What's the substance? And instead of a post, maybe a text. You know, maybe a text. Hey, I love you. I miss you. Let's hang out for lunch. Let's put our phones down. Let's have some real quality time. Even us coming here, shared, you know, some cars coming here. We got to have some quality time on the way. And we don't ever really get to do that sometimes because we live such busy lives. And I know that sometimes when it comes to social media, there are people that will be on there more because they feel disconnected.
Right.
Yes.
Because I live, you know, far away, or because I am always busy and I'm working from home and I don't have that connection with people, but it's not the same. And that's where there's misunderstandings can happen and confusion because it's not face to face.
You can't
Exactly.
read tone in a text.
You definitely
I
cannot.
always tell people, you have those serious conversations in person.
We're living in a time where, again, everything is computers, everything is social media. So even if you have someone who is on social media, they won't have enough. Self-esteem, I'm going to say,
Okay.
to really sit and say the same thing in front of somebody because they're
Yes.
so busy behind the scenes that when they get in front of people,
They're still
they
behind
have
the
no
scenes.
social skills whatsoever.
Yes.
You know, it's like they're hiding.
They're bold behind.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
It's kind of like their bark. What is that term?
Their
louder
bark
than-
is
Is
bigger,
louder than
their bite. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's like, come on, really? Now
Yeah.
you know.
But, you know, I really pray that this has definitely impacted someone in their life in some way, shape, or form of how they walk their walk as a person, whether you're a Christian or not. Just love the people that you're around. We thank you so much for joining us for Worldview Talk Show. And again, these are my lovely, lovely and dear sisters. We thank you so much for joining us, and we pray that you will come back for more as the year goes on, and love